Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of IZZY Does It. This is considered a mini episode that we want to release during our mid-season break because we miss you so much and we hope that you miss us too. We, as in Fuad and myself, and this cute little mic and the cameras and the lighting gear and everything. So last week I asked our listeners, which is everyone that is listening today, to submit questions, any burning questions that you've always been curious about, whether it's the show or myself, to a NGL link. And I'm very pleased and overwhelmed to say that we've received over 50 questions. And some are very deep questions, some are lighthearted and funny, and some are just like, I don't even know why you're asking me that, honestly. So what I did was obviously some questions that you sent in are similar in nature and duplicates. So what I did is I've got two screens on my laptop right now. Hope you don't mind. One are questions that I've grouped into like categories. So questions about the podcast, about the guest, and questions about whoever wants to know about my personal relationships in terms of like, romantic relationships. Others are just like my background, the origin story of the podcast. And then the other window is um, reserved for like I would say like yeah, very broad and random questions. Okay, so without further ado, let us begin. Let's talk about the origin story of the podcast. So I'm gonna ask Fuad to share his version of the origin story of Izzy Does It on how he came in and stuff. But when I first started podcasting, I did it solo. I think I did it November last year, kale. So my first episode was titled "Let Me Introduce My Introverted Self." It's still on Spotify and Google Podcasts, so you can listen to that. It's very shitty. The audio quality is super bad. I bought a Yeti Blue mic from Chonghok kan because it was on a discount, so I bought it 100 plus, and then I learned how to use GarageBand, an audio editing app, and then I just sounded off lah. I didn't plan on releasing that episode the same day that I was like test recording it. But I was like, if I don't release this tonight, I don't think I'll ever release it. So I just recorded and then released it and then posted it on my IG story, and a few friends and family like reposted it, they listened to it, and yeah, that's the origin story. So the specific questions basically says, what inspired you to do the podcast? How does this idea of making this podcast with fellow Bruneians started? Any reasons? Okay, so what inspired me is because mm, when I was active on TikTok, I posted a lot of like commentary videos, right? So what I did was I screenshot from Instagram, I screenshot news headlines from Borneo Bulletin, the Bruneian, the Scoop, and then I used this green screen effect ara TikTok and then plastered it on my background, and then basically I just sound off whatever is the headline lah. So I share my opinions apa ni semua. So I do feel like because that was very short form content, and at that time I think TikTok maximum you could only post 3-minute videos. It started off as 30 seconds and then they extended to 1 minute, and then I think now you can post up to like 10 minutes kala. So I needed a long form format, so I needed a platform that can do that, and I've always enjoyed listening to podcasts, and I was like, okay, maybe like I should try going into podcasting, right? Because at that time, I do know that Fasting Bro has his own podcast. I do know like ZP's has his as well, which is called Facts of Life. So I'm like, okay, you know what? Let's just do this lah. So I started solo, and then I think after 16 episodes with multiple breaks in between, I took another break and I was like, okay, let's just like chill for a bit. And I was gonna save up money to buy like an audio interface. I was gonna buy more mics because I really wanted to have either like a co-host or have different people come on the show to just bounce off the conversations with, because I feel like it would be so biased if I just state opinions based on my personal own lah and my own experiences. Because like I know people enjoy that, but I do enjoy also sharing other people's POVs, which is why like the podcast is how it is right now lah. Okay, so Fuad. This is where Fuad came in. Because before I met him, like I mentioned before, it was like all me solo. So do you want to tell the story, Fuad? Should I? Kejap, kejap. Should I video you? Yeah, kejap. This is Fuad Latif, guys. Kejap. Because I told this story so many times. I want to hear your POV.
Hi.
Kejap.
Are you rolling yet? Okay.
Yeah, I'm rolling. I'm rolling now.
Hi. I'm Fuad. I'm the guy behind the camera. Uh, so I don't know how this relationship actually happened. It was honestly 100% coincidence, right? I was on set on another production. Izzy was at that location for a meeting or something,
Yeah.
and then kami terjumpa di sana, and then he told me that I should start my own podcast, but I don't want to do that. I wanted to help other people do their own thing, like do their own podcast, and that's basically what I'm doing with Izzy. Izzy's my little production experiment to see if podcasts can actually work, and so far it's been great. That's the short form story lah.
Yeah.
There's more in betweens of trials and tribulations, but that's for Nanti. We'll tell that story.
Oh, ada lagi ni nanti.
Oh yeah,
Oh, so this is not it.
this is not it. This is not like the special episode, right? This is just us casually answering questions
Actually, yeah.
because we have more questions, Izzy,
Yes,
that we
okay,
need to get
Baba.
to.
Okay,
Okay,
okay, okay. All right. Cute. Thank you, Fuad. I'll bring you in again
okay,
afterwards. Actually, right now, Lataros, because another question is, since you're here, right?
right.
I mean, you're gonna be
Like
here.
I'm, I'm gonna disappear, right? Like I'm
Oh
not
my
watching these
god.
cameras.
Yeah. Okay, so another question I grouped into this section is someone asked, how do you recharge yourself and your crew, which is you,
hmm
after you finish interviewing guests, especially intense ones? What do you do? What do we do basically for it?
Okay, so far this is a ritual. Yeah. after every after every shoot, we have a very long postmortem where like after a long event or a long time talking to someone, you kind of have to decompress. And us as crew, we decompress like that. We just chat amongst each other about the episode, about issues we faced and how we can overcome them, like lighting issues, camera issues, sound issues, apa saja lah, like any other production. But kami selalu makan kolomi. Yeah, kolomi sama burger. That's about
Where
it.
we have to shout them out.
Okay. Shout out to ayamku. No, not
Eh,
ayamku. Sorry,
ayam!
ayam. Sorry. Ayam. Shout out to ayam. Um, delicious food there. Not sponsored. Kalau kan sponsor, you can reach out to us on Instagram at IZZY Does It Podcast. Okay.
Okay.
Is there anything else you want to add, Izzy?
Yeah, actually, okay, yeah. I want to ask you, this is not, nobody asked this, but like I just want you to share
Okay.
also, because remember how, because I also, if in case someone also wants to start a podcast, right?
Okay.
And then they also need help, like
Mm-hmm.
macam in terms of production and stuff, like how I basically reached out to Fuad was, okay, initially we were supposed to do this with one other person, but then
Mm-hmm.
again the other person was like busy, and then I reached out to Fuad personally, and then I was like, Fuad, I wanna start having guests on, I wanna like take Easy to the next level, but like I can't pay you.
Mm.
And then what made you say yes to that? To my
Okay,
offer
for
basically.
your offer specifically, because I know the work I've worked not not technically with you before. So okay, here's here's some tea, some drama. Okay, no problem drama. But Izzy is an AD by trade, an assistant director. That's his day job basically, where he helps on productions, and he directs people on set
Mm.
essentially. And I have been on set when he's directing, and I saw how good he is at doing that, and I saw that my career was leaning towards that a bit more,
Mm.
and I wanted to partner up with him in some way or another. But also, I know that the content Izzy makes is good, and so I
Ooh.
wanted to team up with someone that makes good content. But Also, some advice for like if you are a budding cinematographer in Brunei and you want to start working on productions and you don't know how,
Mm.
what you can do is you can reach out to influencers, and influencers
Mm.
always need a camera person, audio person, whatever,
Mhm.
and you can partner up with them for short periods of time to get your feet wet, learn the trade of production, and
Yeah.
all that stuff. This doesn't happen overnight. This took
Mm.
me like years and years of learning, of struggling to figure out how all this stuff works. And even now, every day, I'm learning something new.
All right. So the next question. Okay, I'm bulking all of this because the next part I want to tackle is guests. And this is the most popular subject when it comes to me receiving questions or suggestions from our listeners, from you guys, because I think I receive guest suggestions on a daily basis on every platform possible. So on my personal Instagram, on the Easy Does It Instagram, whenever I'm on Reddit, people also take the chance to tell me, oh, can you please invite this. Apa lagi TikTok ataupun semua to everyone's just like, oh, invite this person next, invite that person next. So I'm just gonna like randomly like say all these names and then we can move on. I'll also explain how I selected the first 10 guests. All right. So the names here that you submitted is Awesome Mommy, Jack Friday, Empire of Icons, Shikin Johari, Rosan Yunus, Prince Mateen, Minister of Health, Minister of Education, Najib Jaffrey, Loh Latif, Hanales, Nanchis, Kurapak, Alip Pom Brunei, and so much more. Najib Hamid. And then someone said, invite Abang Rashid as your next guest in your next episode. Abang Rashid is, he would never. So if I know that person's gonna say no, I'm not gonna waste my breath and ask them unless they show me hints that they're willing to do it. All right. And then someone said, please bring Nina Iskandar to the show. Want to know how Brunei actress can be successful in neighboring country. Okay, so first, before I get to all of this, I want to share with you the guest selection process because somebody did ask, a few people actually did ask. Oh, and then someone said, will you invite local foodies? All right. So I've mentioned this before, and I want to reiterate again that everyone and anyone with a story is welcome to come on this show. But because we're only releasing one episode, which equals to one guest per week, we can only invite so many people. Whoever you're suggesting, some of them I've reached out to, some of them are in my list of 50 names that I initially listed down to invite to the show. It's only gonna be a matter of time until they come. So I would like to ask for your patience because kami pun, we're also excited to have them on. Imagine if we have all big names in the first cycle. Who else are we gonna invite? So I wanna like segregate and also like I'm not in a rush to have big names on the show because like I want to give time for lesser known people too. So it's like a balance. Maybe in the next cycle, I'm planning to have one big name and then the following lesser name and then so on and so on lah. Just to have a balance. I do want to invite real people to the show as well because they also have the most experiences. Um, what I'm gonna say next ties to one of the questions, which is, have I invited anybody who turned down or declined my offer? Okay, so after the Posh Qifly episode came out, honestly, it wasn't as easy for me to invite someone onto the show. Um, and someone asked me if I'm willing to share names. I'm not gonna share whoever that declined or said maybe not now. But a few I've asked to be on the show. So they either turn it down because they said like, oh, they just want to live a private life, which is fair. Two, they're intimidated because of the Posh Kifli episode. Three, they said, "Oh, just not right now, lah," which is also understandable. So the first one, the person who I invited said that They just want to live a private life. Okay, I can understand that, but like we don't necessarily have to talk about your personal life. There are other things that I want to discuss, Jua. So I think that's one assumption or misconception that people have. Like every time I have someone on, we're gonna go deep into your childhood traumas. We're gonna go deep into like, your personal life. Inda, if you're not comfortable talking about that, let's talk about something. Let's talk about something that you're comfortable with. If I invite you and you assume that I'm gonna get down and dirty on your personal life, that's not the case at all. We can have this collaboration. Tell me what you're comfortable talking about. Tell me what you're not comfortable talking about. And if you just simply don't want to go on the show and get interviewed, it's also okay. No hard feelings, right? Um, how I selected the first 10 guests. Okay, so it was a mixture of initial names that I listed down. Kira my dream list latwa. I've always had a dream list, even when I did my solo podcast. Uh, I haven't even touched the surface, honestly. So the original names that are on my dream list that we've had on already was Rano. Rano has always been the first guest um, that I plan to have. Uh, Z, Shafi, Ninja Tuto, Fiza. Yeah, I think the other five names, what I can't remember. The other five names, were they in our original list at the point?
No, they weren't in the list. It
Okay,
was
so
more like, oh, this person's interesting. We can add
yeah,
them on.
yeah.
Cuma tahu.
Like macam just improv, right? Oh, macam this person can make it. Let's find a replacement, and then that's how we came. Okay, so macam
That
Posh.
that sounds bad, but it's not like we were like, oh, just because this person couldn't make it, we have to
Yeah,
fill the slot. If sekiranya benar-benar, if that person is interesting and it fits the show,
yeah.
baru we'll invite
Yeah,
them.
we would have had them anyway.
Yeah,
Yeah, but
eventually,
I need
right.
because like someone couldn't make it, they came on earlier, and it all worked out for the best. I feel like the first 10 guests that we had were really solid, and all of them like had really great, amazing, inspirational stories that they shared. Like macam yeah, like Woody was not in the plan. It was because of a guest. It was because of the listener who recommended his name, and I got curious and I was like, okay, let's have him on. Posh on TikTok. It was our discussion, and then your sister also, Lily Imani, and then Fasting Bro also was last minute. So like yeah, it's very interesting on how things work out, and I wouldn't have it any other way lah. So again, we've also listed out the names for the next cycle, but it's not all set in stone, and I don't think I've reached out to anybody yet. So we're gonna keep it flexible. We're gonna adapt to whatever the situation is, but it's also good to always prepare some names lah, so we can fall back on the plan in case anything happens. Um, okay, so yang chalinya when I invited when Woody came on the show, suddenly the whole Forex community threw names for me to invite like other mentors, such as Paul X and this Najib Hamid guy. And then when your sister came on, Lily Imani, like business women, like all came together and be like, oh, can you invite this gold trader? Can you invite this blah blah blah? I'm just like, everyone relax, okay? Really appreciate your suggestions, but give us time to breathe. We want to we want our guests to be diverse. We want our guests to be very inclusive as we're allowed to, and as inclusive as we can. And when I say inclusive, not just in terms of like gender, background, but also inclusivity when it comes to like thoughts. And that's why I enjoy doing this show so much, because we've managed to dive into the minds of a forex trader, of a content creator, of a musician, of a social media influencer. And not everyone has to agree with the choices that they make or the life choices that they decided to go on. But it gives you a glimpse of like, okay, you're not the only one living in this world. There's other people doing other different things too. And it's okay to agree to disagree and just live your life and let them live their life. All right. So a lot of you are curious on if we've made any money so far. So, how has the take up been for sponsorships by companies asking because curious of how to make money? How much have you earned from your podcast? Do you earn income by podcasting? How do you earn money from podcasts? Does the interviewee or crew get paid? And then, yeah, so basically that's it. Currently, we have not received nor aggressively approached any company for sponsorships yet. I do want to acknowledge that we have received numerous offers from you guys, especially local businesses, to sponsor food for when we record. And I apologize because balum ko sampaikan to reply. I'm telling you guys, ever since that Posh Qifly episode came out, I could not reply every single DM anymore. It got really overwhelming. Before that, I reply to every single message. I repost every single story. I screenshot every single DM I receive and share it. Tapi ever since that episode came out, ever since the podcast like became mainstream, I just could not re- reply to every single message. So I hope you understand, and I do try my best to reply. But yeah, I just want to like say that thank you so much for the offer. I will reply once we've set a date for our filming, and then maybe we can figure out how, like in terms of the logistics, if you want to send food or whatever, and yeah, stuff like that. So having said that, we are Easy Does It is a self-funded venture. So I've said this before, and I'm gonna say it again. So far, I'm only able to pay the crew with food. Other than that, yeah, nada. We have not made any solid money yet. But I also want to take this chance to announce that ever since we've launched our crowdfunding campaign, we have received over $300. And again, I want to thank you so much for that huge contribution, because now we can like buy food for people. We can buy food for people, and we've also, oh yeah, so from the money that we received, we've used it to register our company, we've used it to open up a bank account, and we've used it to for two recordings, Kafwan. Food, right? So two recordings, two sessions already. And then we've bought some mini gadgets like macam SSD and stuff. So we've managed to like use that contribution money that you gave us for that, for those important stuff. It's not little stuff. It's actually like really crucial and beneficial to us. So thank you so much. Thank you so much. Yeah. And recently I think episode 4 or 5, we are officially YouTube partners. Currently, we have $17.32 from YouTube. Yeah. Thanks, YouTube. Yeah, Atula. And we plan on not touching that so far because we can't withdraw it anyway. I think there's a certain threshold and amount that we need to meet in order for us to be able to withdraw. I think $100 kala. Other questions are, what are some podcasts you listen to or take inspiration from? Okay, so I enjoy listening to a few. So Anything Goes by Emma Chamberlain, Call Her Daddy by Alex Cooper, but Call Her Daddy is a more R-rated stuff. Um, but I think my top one is No Stupid Questions and Diary of a CEO by Stephen Bartlett. So those are the podcasts that I listen to. Every now and then I listen to Joe Rogan as well, but I don't know, I have like commitment issues. When I see like his episodes are like 2 or 3 hours long, I just like, you know what, I can't do this. So I just not ending up like pressing play. But for the rest, I think an hour or like an hour 30 minutes I can deal with. Next question. Oh, not a question, but I can access your podcast via Spotify. It says that it is unavailable in my region. May want to check that because I'd love to have it on my Spotify. Okay, so this is another thing I've also explained in the on DMs lab. Never truly said anything in the video. The hosting site that I'm using right now does not recognize Brunei as a region yet. So if your Spotify account is based in Brunei, you definitely will not be able to look for Easy Does It, which is why I offered alternatives such as YouTube and Google Podcasts. But if your Spotify account is from Malaysia, UK, you will still definitely be able to see it. So I've emailed them and they've acknowledged, they actually replied me. So they are continuously working to making sure that my podcast is available worldwide. But it's gonna take a lot of time because I'm not like I don't have millions and millions of listeners. I'm hoping you'll help me get there. So to their eyes, like, oh, it's just a small time podcast. Let's just like put this way below the queue. You know what I'm saying? So that's just my assumption lah. So yeah, hope you don't mind going to Google Podcast or YouTube for that. Okay, so now I'm gonna do like random ass questions. All right, because I'm saving the personal questions for like the last bit. I think that's gonna take a lot of my emotional energy. Okay, words of wisdom for those who want to start doing something out of their comfort zone, please. Fuad, take it away.
For me personally, I don't do that anymore.
As in, you stay.
I stay in my comfort zone because it's within my field of what I know and what is good for me,
Okay.
right? I feel like this whole notion that you have to, be extraordinary, be out of the box is like, eh, you can just be okay. You can just be normal. It's fine. I know that's not the answer you were looking for, but I feel like in my older age, belum juto ba na, I'm 27,
Oh my
that
god,
I've
you're still
realized
young.
that you don't have to be extraordinary at everything, and that you can live in your comfort zone. It's okay to be comfortable. It's good to try new things, but also center yourself, right?
Mm.
If there's something sekiranya, this whole idea of the comfort zone thing for me is like, sekiranya there's something you're not comfortable doing, why do it? If it's something that you are excited and nervous about, that's okay. You're learning something new. But comfort's important to me. What about you, Izzy?
If whatever you want to do requires you to be uncomfortable, and it's in line, again, it's in line with what you eventually want to achieve, I think you just have to put your focus onto that. Like one example that I can give, and I'm not sure if this is something that is related to the person who's sending in this question, right? For example, like, as much as I plan to have guests on, it actually makes me uncomfortable. Not in the worst way possible, but in terms of me as a person, like, one, I'm an introvert. Two, I can get shy when I don't know the person. So imagine me having to sit through 2 hours with someone who I don't know and talk about like deep stuff. So on camera, you may look like you. It may seem like I've done this like 5 million times, right? But there is a feeling of uncomfort there, and I think instead of pushing that uncomfortability away, I think you should just embrace it and just do it if it aligns with what you want to do and what your goal is. So don't focus too much on being uncomfortable, but just focus on achieving whatever you want to do. And yeah, sometimes that requires you to be uncomfortable, and it's okay. So, not necessarily doing something out of your comfort zone, but just being okay with being uncomfortable is how I would approach it. Okay? Next question. What is your full time job and how do you manage between your podcast activity? Me being a content creator and a production freelancer is my full time job. I left the corporate job bila like lama sudah lah. Like I think November last year I left a health tech company and I was actually pretty happy in that job. I was getting paid more than I've ever been paid, even though it was a contract thing. They did offer me to extend my contract, but I decided to pursue content creation, filmmaking full time lah, because this is where my passion lies. So currently, I only have to juggle between podcasting and filmmaking. And when I say filmmaking, it's like producing and directing commercials, writing scripts for commercials. Um, yeah, that's it so far. Are there any gaps in terms of production or content wise that you think can be filled in by those interested, even if temporarily unpaid? I mean, me and Food have talked about this. We are looking to expand our team, but we're very picky with who we want to have on the team because we don't want to just like invite people's kati kati. So some of the roles that I feel like we plan to eventually fill in lah, maybe not immediately, but eventually, is a producer role. So someone who can help me book the guests, schedule the timing, um, arrange the crew punya makanan, basically the logistical side of things lah, and help me research on the guest juga. Cause yeah, cause so far that's what I'm doing, and then eventually I want to have someone handle the social media, so a social media coordinator, um, slash graphic design, so they can help me design the thumbnail, post whatever that's need to be posted at a certain time, and just be active on social media lah, to make sure our digital presence is always on point. I think an editor at some point too, but right now it's Fuad helping me with coloring and syncing the audio. I think that's all. That would be like a really like good solid team. I feel like if we have that. Oh, and I know. Okay, yeah. I was gonna say like a salesperson, but I think the producer can fill in that role. So to continuously also seek sponsorships, partnerships lah with companies to keep the company afloat.
I think they're also asking if they can skiriga be on set, be part
Yeah.
of the crew on set,
Yeah.
like camera operators and stuff like that.
So that will fall on Fuad because I told him I trust him with like hiring people in terms of crew. So you would have to try and impress Fuad.
Okay, so the thing is, the crew that we have on set for Izzy Does It is people that we are friends with, that we are close to, because we are spending hours and hours and hours together. And it's not light-hearted sitting in an office doing your own thing kind of thing. It gets really intense in the room sometimes, and you need to be able to trust this person to fulfill their role while being in an intense situation. So it's people that both me and Izzy know and both me and Izzy trust. And right now, we're not yet looking for people to fill in like camera operator roles because that is, for now, we're good. We're solid. Yeah. Sorry about that. Sound, maybe eventually, just because I'm juggling a lot. Like, I have to babysit the camera operators, I have to babysit my own camera, I have to do sound, yeah, two cameras, and then I also have to help Izzy sometimes prepare. Just it's not like I help him research or anything, but if there are any gaps in his questions, I will help fill those in as well sometimes. It's not very often. He's really good.
Any side income ideas for one that is working as a doctor?
Why would you need side income as a doctor?
Right? Why would you need side income if you're a doctor? Oh my god.
Gaji doctor berapa kan di Brunei?
I have no idea. I have no idea.
I think like on the low end is around 3K. On the high end is like up to 10, right? Yeah?
10K?
Head of department or something. Gaji pengarah je tu, 10,000 je tu.
That's insane. Then I don't know why this.
Hindi plus 10, like 8 lah. That's still a lot, right?
That's still a lot.
Okay, benefit of the doubt.
Okay.
Doctor, what do you think they can do on the side for side income?
I mean, if you okay, it's either you side income as in you want to dive into something else other than like what your day job is, which is a doctor, or you just want to invest in something. So maybe you can set up a side business using your big gaji, or if you're into content creation, I feel like there's so many those on TikTok, there's so many doctors sharing their opinions about like health related stuff or just sharing their knowledge. I think that's a really cool thing to do. And I don't think any Bruneian doctor has actually ever done that before. Nada kan? So side income. I guess, yeah lah, like, I mean, you start a business, I guess. You can start a business. Food and beverage is always something that's easily sellable in Brunei. If you want to open up another cafe so that we have 1 million cafes in Brunei pun okay jua. Um, yeah, there's so many ideas, and I feel like this question, I appreciate you sending in this question, but this is something I would ask ChatGPT pulang. Yeah, so maybe they're more knowledgeable than I am.
Okay, on the low, if you wanna get rich as a doctor, start your own practice, right?
Yeah, yeah.
That way you can charge however much you like rather than whatever your gaji is.
Yes.
There you go.
There you go.
Be your own boss as a doctor.
Next question. Okay, not a question, but a complaint. The first complaint. I send you DMs, naka na-reply pun, sad face. Yeah, so I've talked about this before. Like, yeah, dulu, I'm so rajin when it comes to replying DMs. But ever since the podcast has gained so much attention and a lot of people constantly send in messages apa semua, which I truly appreciate. Again, I'm not complaining. I'm very grateful for this experience. But my bandwidth and my capacity being on my phone is very, very limited. Like, I'm I'm not, contrary to popular belief, I actually don't enjoy being on my phone if it doesn't serve me any purpose. Um, and even though if or when I'm on my phone, I go to it to seek solace. So no interactions, no engagements with anybody, right? So if I happen to be free and if I read a certain DM at the right time, I will reply. But if not, again, I apologize. Chuba lagi, keep sending me the DM, keep nudging me, and maybe I will reply. Yeah, so no hard feelings. Next, I'm a huge fan of your podcast. I just want to say you and your guests are so inspirational to me. Please do more. We are planning to do more, and thank you so much for the kind words. We really appreciate it. What do you think of interracial marriages in Brunei and in general? Polygamy marriages, divorcees and widowers or widowies at second chances of marrying? For a Bruneian to migrate to another country with a foreign husband?
I mean, love is love.
Sekejap, do people expect me to be Tuan Rozan Yunus?
Maybe. Tuan Ruzan Yunus 2.0. You're the protege. You need to have him on the show.
Oh my god. No, yeah, yeah, for sure. Okay, so I'm not gonna go deep into this. Maybe we can have a specific episode that discusses this, right? Because Tiwin also has like some thoughts. Maybe we can have her talk about this in our part two with Tiwin. But briefly, I'm very liberal when it comes to stuff like this, right? As long as there's no disrespect involved, I'm okay with it. Would I practice it myself? Maybe not, but I'm okay with other people practicing it. Hence why I have very little opinion.
Polygamy specifically or the interracial marriage? Because,
Polygamy, interracial.
I mean, like, honestly, for me personally, there's like, what is the issue with interracial marriage? Like, that's a non-issue for me. Polygamy is still a little bit iffy because you are playing with multiple people's emotions. And if you can contend with that, if you can handle the stress and it's all consensual and everybody is happy in that situation, I'm fine.
Right? Yeah, because I do know people who actually have multiple wives. And I don't know truly how the first wife feels, but it seems like she's living a happy life with her children and she gets along with the other wives, Jua. So that could be a thing, you know. But then again, yeta, like I said, deep inside, we don't know how she feels or, yeah. So, but personally, my thoughts, because this person said, what do I think, right? Yeah. I'm okay. Even the last bit is for a Bruneian to migrate to another country with a foreign husband. I say, do it. Do it. Why not? You know, if you've lived in Brunei your whole entire life, why not start a new chapter with your husband in another country? I think that's amazing. My best friend, I haven't seen her in a long time. She didn't marry a foreigner, but her husband, who's a Bruneian, they're both currently in New Zealand. It's because he went to school there, and then I think he's done so many years ago, but like they just decided to just keep on staying there to like seek opportunities and just live their life. And oh my God, they're having such an amazing adventure. And I feel like for me, if I were to be given that opportunity, I would definitely go. So yeah, I think it's good. Izzy, I really like your personality, so humble, cute, and funny. And of course, I'm going to support whatever you do. Always be that person and be happy. Hashtag cozy gang. I get so gassed when people actually use cozy gang. I don't know if it actually works. What? Do we have alternatives? Are we
It's cute. It's okay. We're gonna keep it. We can keep it.
okay? We're gonna stick to cozy gang. Thank you so much. Hashtag cozy gang. And thank you so much for your comment. I'm not gonna say much about it. What is your diet like? Non-existent. I don't watch what I eat.
Lapasan na kami makanapa.
Actually, after this, honestly, because I'm so hungry right now, I can literally eat anything when I'm hungry. So in my head, on top of my head, because study at home, my mom bought martabak for my anak buah, right? So I feel like I don't mind martabak. At the same time, it's already past lunchtime. I feel like we deserve a meal for it. So maybe ayam. Maybe ayam, you know? I also do need coffee though to survive me through the day. To survive me through the day. To keep me up through the day. Lagi belerus cakap ko.
Exercise, portion control. That's about it.
I don't portion control too. Yeah, but I do. Okay, so if we're not talking about food wise, I do try to make sure I live an active lifestyle lah. So much I went jogging yesterday. I haven't gone to the gym yet, but I have gone. So it's just about like timing and like just rearranging my schedule because I do like a solid like macam schedule as opposed to like, oh, aku free awal ni, let's go to the gym. Like, no, like I want to know what time I'm going to the gym that day and what time I'm going jogging that day, what time I'm recording this, what time I'm recording that. Yeah. But other than that, yeah, when it comes to food, I'm actually not fussy too. And like I don't drink fizzy drinks, wah. I don't drink Coke. I don't drink all of that. I drink them once in a while, but I don't crave for it. So I feel like I'm okay in that aspect. What is your weakness? How do I lightly get into this without going so deep? Or am I supposed to go deep with this?
Like physical weakness or like Izzy has gout.
I have gout, yes.
How deep do you wanna go? You can go as deep as you want.
Like generally, I know I'm emotional, so I can, but yeah, so it's a weakness and a strength, Jua. If you catch me at a bad time, I for sure feel like my emotions or me being emotional can be a weakness more than a strength. That's my weakness. Me always succumbing to my emotions. Next, Posh Qifly is your best episode and the strongest push. You both should consider doing this together to sustain the momentum. I agree. Posh Qifly is to date the most viewed and still discussed episode so far. Second is Lily Imani's episode. You both should consider doing this together to sustain the momentum. Um, I do appreciate this advice, but I don't think I should constantly have him on to sustain the momentum. We are planning something together. Wink. Yeah. Posh Kifli, if you're watching this, don't tell anyone yet. But yes, so there is a project that we are looking to produce with Posh Kifli and the other guests as well. So again, it's only a matter of time and resources. But in terms of like sustaining the momentum, I'm genuinely surrendering because again like I don't know if I've said this before, but me and Fuad, actually Fuad always reminds me that there will be good episodes, there will be bad episodes. I will freak out every week nonetheless.
Also, as a note that just because a lot of people resonate with si Posh Kifli punya episode doesn't mean it's the best episode for everyone. Because some people may have liked macam different episodes for different reasons, kan?
Yes.
That different people have different takeaways from the different episodes.
Yeah.
And we've had this discussion multiple times where I personally might have not liked the episode, but Izzy loved it, someone else loved it, and that's okay. That's okay to have different opinions about the episodes. But to say that one episode is the best and all the others aren't as good is it's like and also different people have different stories, and if you don't like the stories, it's okay.
The reason why Posh Kifli is considered like one of the kira macam most viewed and the most talked about episode is because his story is truly unique, you know. And that's why I'm like I always thank him like for being so open in sharing his story because he's not the only one who's like who went through that, but he's so far the only one that I know who is willing to openly talk about it. So yeah. All right. So I hope you have the patience to await what Easy Does It and Posh Qifly have to offer in the future. So sabara. What's your dream career if not what you are currently pursuing? If I wasn't a content creator, filmmaker, podcast host, if Easy Does It was not in my life, what would I be doing? I think something in the realms of like creativity, because I've always enjoyed marketing as well. And I'm very confident in my marketing capabilities. So I think I would be, yeah, a digital marketer, a social media marketer. That would be my other dream job if I'm not doing what I'm doing right now.
Also, Izzy Does It wouldn't have worked if Izzy wasn't an amazing marketer.
There you go.
Think about that. Because even if we made the best podcast ever, Izzy Does It wouldn't have worked if Izzy wasn't an amazing marketer and if he wasn't great at marketing. Because even if we created the best podcast of all time where we talk to the most interesting people ever, kalau marketing niya kosong, viewers niya pun kosong. So building the hype for the episodes is just as important as the episodes itself. It doesn't matter if the content of the episodes in the berapa. If the marketing for it is amazing, then the episode will blow up for sure.
Okay. Thank you, Fuad. Yeah, it's like my marketing capabilities is not something that I'm humble about. I'm really like confident with my capabilities, which is why um it's bad plan. I always say this to myself, like not to anyone. If whatever I'm doing don't work out, I can easily go back to a corporate job. Just apply for any marketing job. I know I'm like I can bring value to that company lah. So yeah. What's your dream? Okay, knowing our country, have you been contacted by any agencies? Bracket censoring departments, MORA, etc. Close bracket. So this is the thing. Um, I don't know about you, Fuad, but I personally thought we were going to get contacted for the Posh Qifly episode. You were confident we were never gonna. Okay, but then again, so far, alhamdulillah, inda. Um,
Also, what we're doing doesn't fall under censorship apa kan. We're talking to people, we're putting it online for private consumption. It's not as if we're playing it on a big screen at a Cineplex or a mall or
yeah, that's the dream.
whatever. But the laws for private consumption of media is different than the laws for public consumption of media. So what we are doing is all within the realms of just fine.
So hope that answers your question. The next question is, when is the next drama series or movie? A few days ago, I went in and pitched a 3 episode series to AITI because they opened up submissions to produce either a telemovie or a series for a $6,000 budget. It falls under their initiative, which is called the AITI Pitch and Produce. So if that gets accepted, so that would be my next filmmaking project last, so my next series.
Also, if you do get it, that would be great content for Izzy Does It, like behind the scenes.
At least people know what I do other than this, kan? Yeah. So that's a plan. Let me know if you're interested to want to see that. um, next, how to get self confident.
First thing you need to do to be self confident is to love yourself and understand that you are a human being and you have flaws and you have issues that you can change and you can't change about yourself, and that you acknowledge that you are trying your best to be the best version of yourself, and with that confidence will grow. Anything you want to add to that, Izzy?
For me, I think being self confident, ani, it's like, sana, like I understand pulang, like people expect some practical advice or like practical steps on how to get self confident. But I think what Fuad said was true. I think it's something that you have to seek from within, because the question of confidence is like the only reason why you're not confident is because of what you think other people will think of you, right? So I think once you block that noise out and you focus on whatever you want to do, I think, yeah, I think you can easily get confident from that. I'm not sure if I'm making sense, but yeah, like In order to want to be confident, you have to understand why you're not confident. Is it because you're not used to public speaking? If it's something that you want to do, that, for example, yeah, if you want to do public speaking and you're not confident, you need to dive into yourself and dive into yourself. Ask yourself, why are you not confident? You're not confident of your skills, then do something about it. Go on YouTube. Because I did this before, like, because I'm not a confident public speaker too. Like, I actually shake and my voice, like, much I get nervous, I sweat, I want to puke, I want to shit at the same time. So, like, what I did was, I YouTube, like, how to be okay with public speaking, how to get comfortable and stuff like that. So there's multiple exercises that they teach you for you to be able to overcome that fear of what it is that you want to do, and then in turn make you be more comfortable and confident. But again, the same practice with the issue of tadi, macam apa tadi, that question yang ano, yeah, uncomfortable tadi, uncomfort, yeah, you have to be okay with being uncomfortable, work with it, make it work for you instead of against you, and then you'll be okay. And don't be afraid to fail. I think one of the reasons why people are so insecure or like much in the confident is because they're afraid to fail. So you have to be okay with like failing sometimes.
And also mindset matters.
Mindset matters. How to successfully ease an interview? I think for me, it's the energy that you emit and also the space, the physical space that you provide. Um, which is why, like, talking to Fuad when we first wanted to have our guest on, like, for me, the location matters the most because it has to be crafted in a way where it's cozy, it's comfortable, it's macam right now the air cons are on, it's chilled, like macam, yeah, it doesn't look corporate, it doesn't look too formal. The seats are comfortable, and all I have to do next is to make sure that I make them feel comfortable. And sometimes I do my research in depth, sometimes I do light research, but uh my guests feel comfortable knowing that I know a little bit about them, just a little bit. And then if I don't know much about them, I'm very honest and I say, I actually don't know much about you and I want to get down. So it's like getting to know somebody, and getting them to open up. I think that's how I ease an interview.
But also, they have time to acclimate. They have time to get used to the
Yeah, we
situation.
don't taros press record.
Yeah.
Yeah, we talk for a bit.
Well, we do Taros press record just in case there's anything juicy.
Oh yeah.
Never
They
mind.
don't know that.
But we let them sit. We let them get comfortable.
Yeah.
We ask them, "Are you comfortable? Do you want some water?" Just make them feel at home, so then they
Yes.
can be the version of themselves they want to be.
Yeah, yeah. You know, let them like macam look macam they said. Okay, there's like three crew members. There's
Oh, introduce everyone on
camera.
set as well.
Yeah, yeah.
That's
That's really
important.
important
Yeah,
too. Yeah.
make sure that everybody knows that everybody's a human being here.
Yeah.
Not an alien.
Yes. Next. Wow, this is a really Malay atau question. Bolehkah diadakan kemudahan bagi orang kelainan upaya, especially yang duduk di wheelchair untuk melihat wayang? Again, I think when I did that NGL, that person probably meant to send this to Tuan Rozan Yunus, not me. But I mean, yeah, okay, cinemas, if you're watching this, I don't know if you are, but if you're watching this, someone's asking if you can provide a special seat for people on wheelchairs. We would do such a huge disservice to the Kurang Upaya community if we don't make sure like they get to experience watching movies too. Okay, this one, I don't know if I'm gonna include this in the final cut, but it says here when Fuad, where can I find sugar daddies in Brunei? Can you be my bapak gula bebes? A hux lols, a hashtag suddenly potlens.
I don't think we're in the tax bracket to be sugar daddies yet.
Yeah, you're asking the wrong person. I don't know where you can find sugar daddies. I'm pretty sure Adala, huh? But you know what? Okay, so since we're on this topic, I do wanna.
Okay, honestly speaking,
Okay,
sugar daddies are predators. I feel that way. I feel strongly about that. 100%.
okay. Then we need to find a sugar baby. Obviously, we'll censor the face. We'll put on a mask, a Hello Kitty mask on. We'll distort her voice or his
This is
voice.
not Izzy's opinion, by the way. This is my
Yeah,
opinion.
yeah, yeah.
Fuad punya opinion that sugar daddies are predators.
Yeah,
Okay?
yeah. And I'm saying I want to invite a sugar baby on the show. So if you know anybody or if you're one, we will obviously protect your identity. But we have some questions we want to ask. Again, now saying that out loud, I feel like I'm about to puke because I don't know how people are gonna receive that episode.
But it's a reality. It's a reality that
It's
people
the reality
can.
of it, yeah. So let me know if you guys actually are okay with me having that kind of like discussion on Is It Does It. Why men don't talk openly about going to therapy? All right, so I don't think it's so much about talking about going to therapy. I think it's the taboo that surrounds the conversation about anyone going to therapy, honestly. It's not like a gender thing. This is just simply my opinion. But I do know, obviously, toxic masculinity is like widespread in not just in Brunei. And a lot of people always like try to pinpoint, oh, only in Brunei, only in Brunei. Tapi indah, sebenarnya it's a universal experience. Like men just don't talk about their feelings. And I feel like sometimes in some situations it's okay for them to not talk about it as long as it doesn't cause them any self harm. But if it does get to a point where they need to open up to somebody, the question is, are we, as a society, able to provide that space for them? Are we able to not judge if we see a grown man crying on the street? Are we able to consult them? Are we able to reach out to them and, check up on them? So I think those are the questions that we as a society also need to ask ourselves because yeah, a lot of the questions I see macam, oh, kenapa lelaki itu, kenapa lelaki ini? But then again, whenever guys do things that are not stereotypically manly of them, pun kena judge juga.
I feel like that's also the reason why si Posh Qifly punya episode was so popular.
Mm-hmm.
It's because he's not a stereotypical guy.
Yeah.
But he's very successful. He has successful business, he has a wife, he has kids, he has, like financially he's doing great.
Mm.
He's famous, he's rich. It seems like everything is going right for him, ba.
Yeah.
Even though he's not your stereotypical
Yeah.
guy.
Yeah.
Stereotypical guy.
Yes.
And I
Yeah.
feel like that's why he's interesting as well.
I agree. I agree. Again, like if you are one of these men who feel like you are living life based on other people's expectations, I do hope you find the place or a time when you finally realize that in order for you to achieve happiness and meet your higher purpose, just shut the noise out and just do whatever you want to do. As long as it doesn't disrespect other people, as long as you're still kind to other people, as long as it doesn't hurt other people, you're good. Okay? You only have literally just this one lifetime to live. Like, come on, let's go. Okay, next question. Episode mana yang paling banyak edited? Tongue out emoji. There's a few. I think right now on top of my head is the Fasting Bro episode and si Woody punya episode. I love Woody. But yeah, those two episodes yang banyak edited lah.
Tapi just as a disclaimer,
Mm.
we edit all the episodes because sometimes when you bercerita, you go a little too far in your story,
Mm.
right?
Mm.
And we don't want to portray a biased perspective. As
Okay.
much as Urangatu is telling their side of the story, we still don't want to hurt other
Ah,
people
yes.
with our content.
Okay, so you're talking
Kan?
about the Fasting Bro, right?
Just in general,
This in okay.
even like see, I feel like everyone had a thing where they were like, "Oh, don't include this part,"
Okay.
or like, "Oh, I accidentally said this name. Can you
Okay.
edit that out?" Kind.
Okay. Yeah.
And we've done that, and that's okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Kind.
It's okay. Yeah, of course. Um,
because we've seen that people are like, please edit out less.
yeah,
But
actually, yeah,
it's like we're not editing out the good juicy parts, right?
yeah.
We're editing
The
out
irrelevant
the
parts.
irrelevant parts. Kadang be-edit ato pasal audio issue tiya, pasal camera issue tiya.
True.
Kan
Yeah. Yeah.
it's not like we're editing out parts that are the juicy fun parts of Izzy Does
Yeah.
It. We're editing
Yeah.
out the parts where it's like, oh, one of the cameras died in the middle, so we have to switch to a different camera angle.
That's true.
Madala.
That's true. Actually, yeah. Actually, now that you okay, so let me just share my editing process since you like explained that to an extent. Um, so my editing process is that I make sure it's like watching as similar as it is like watching a movie. So there's a beginning, middle, and end. If any of the conversations don't match the beginning, middle, and end, I would just cut them out. So one example is Shafi Halim. During his interview, we talked a lot about content creation, being a filmmaker, and the things that he went through in the past. And then towards the end, we started talking about Andrew Tate and AI. So while the conversation was truly interesting, don't get me wrong. Also, whenever we edit out a scene or like a conversation, it doesn't mean that it's not interesting. It's just not relevant to what I am hoping to achieve in that episode, punya storyline, right? So in Shafi's case, us talking about Andrew Tate and the AI thing was just out of place for me. And it could be because I am a storyteller, so I'm very strict in that sense. I do know like other podcasters just leave everything on, which is also fine. That's their style. But for me, I want it to be an experience when you watch an episode featuring somebody, you're literally going through their life milestones, their downfalls, their uphill battles, semuatulah. So the reason that's why I left out the Andrew Tate part. But I shared him that footage, Shafi Halim. It's on his YouTube channel now. You can watch it. Um, so yeah, and also that gives me opportunity to re-invite them and have a topic specific discussion. That way I don't mind. Yeah. So that is the whole like editing process that I go through, that I put myself in. Are you a love to go out person or just stay at home person? Most of the time, I enjoy my time at home, but I think I'm very balanced. So when my friends ask me to go out, I don't mind going out with them. But if I choose to stay at home, I can also just choose to stay at home. I have zero FOMO. Like I don't mind sitting out on hangouts, events, whatever. Um, I go out whenever I feel like it. Can you upload some bloopers at the very end of each podcast? I will try. Maybe we'll see.
There's not many bloopers.
Nope, yeah, it's not a scripted thing. There's no bloopers. Yeah. Again, like
Paling-paling po orang, oh, ano, kan kijamban. They
yeah,
have to cross the cameras like,
yeah,
pudyakan.
yeah. So not really much bloopers, honestly. Ada pun yang macam si Posh Qifly tu. That's why. So kalau ada, I do upload them. Yeah. Remember the Posh Qifly one yang I said, "Hi, welcome to IZZY. I'm good." Yeah. So that stuff like that I do upload. Yeah. How did you manage during O level exams? I didn't. I didn't. My highest qualification, my highest academic qualification is O level. I got three O's. Yeah, English, Sastra, and IRK, Islamic Religious Knowledge. Yeah, I didn't manage O level exams. I'm not the right person to ask this. What? How did you manage your O level exams?
Okay.
What did you get, by the way?
What did I get? I got 7 O's.
Oh my god.
Yeah. I got 1 C, 3 B's, 3 A's, 1 A star. Okay, how you manage during O level? Just revise, go to your classes, listen to your teacher. If something is really, really bothering you and you can't do it properly, there are unlimited resources online. Uh, Khan Academy on YouTube is what I used to watch a lot to just break down maths, science, whatever I needed to do. Guess what my C was?
What? English?
Basta mayo.
Oh,
English. I was the only student in my school that got a star in English.
okay.
Yeah.
I'm not surprised. Yeah,
Yeah. I've always been a writer, storyteller. Yeah.
there you
Same
go.
thing as he does.
All right. Thank you for that words of wisdom. So, Khan Academy, guys. Uh,
Just YouTube lah. YouTube cari. The thing is with a YouTube video, kalau belajar,
Hmm.
you can pause and play and you can refresh balik-balik until you get it.
Yeah.
For me, school was easy. I was able to catch on the subject really naturally,
Hmm.
but I got what I feel like are good grades, but not the best. For my sister, on the other hand, she got 7 A stars, I think. And school was tough for her. She had to belajar every single day to get where she is.
Hmm.
It's very different for different people. Like
Yeah.
some people have to work hard, some people can breeze through, and like it depends on your own personal situation. But do your best. Not do
Hmm.
your best, but like find a way to apply yourself and apply yourself that way.
Yeah. And I think now, instead of maybe scrolling mindlessly on TikTok, I'm pretty sure there's educational TikTok too. Because I think I come across a few. So much if that works for you, then try and just utilize that. I think social media is a good space to look for knowledge, to seek knowledge from. Yeah. So I hope you are resourceful, and I wish you all the best. Good luck your for your O levels. Yeah, I was not.
Even if you do bad, it's not the end of the world.
It's really not. This is so random. What do you think of Aki? Would you go bald for her? So for context, Aki is one of the crew members who is also my friend in the production world. And no, I would not go bald for anybody. But what do I think of her? I love her to bits. Um, Hi Izzy, how was your show so far? Baik inda kena attack, al maklum orang kita ni banyak yang sensitive. Thinking emoji. Honestly, this show is doing amazing so far. I've not received any attack. Um, yeah, like I think we've managed to build such a supportive and loving community that people are very respectful. I can tell my normal when the cozy gang doesn't enjoy an episode because they'll stay silent. But I can also tell when the cozy gang enjoys an episode because they will definitely tell me how they feel, what they think of the episode. So I do believe in the rule where if you don't have anything nice to say, just keep quiet. But unfortunately, not all people practice that. So I'm very, very fortunate to have this Easy Does It community where so far there hasn't been any negative um, feedback when it comes to this show. Guest line cerita, but when it comes to the show, so far it's been good. Opinion on dating apps. Actually, you should interview one of them, Kale. Again, I'm very open minded. I have no opinion on dating apps whatsoever. I'm not against it. At the same time, I'm also not like vouching for it. I'll vouch for you doing whatever you can to make yourself happy. If you are scared on going on dating apps because of how people perceive it, you might miss out on finding your jodoh there. So never exclude any option. Do what feels right for you based on what you think, not based on what others think and feed you.
Do you use dating apps?
No.
Have you ever?
I tried, yeah. I had to try, right? To see if like it works or not, but it's just not for me. Bila lagi next podcast, laugh emoji. Sooner than you think, honestly. Just give us probably one more week. And then we'll be back. We've decided to come back.
Like it was a
Like
question.
it was, yeah, like it was a question whether will we, won't we? But yes, we will come back. I have reached out to a few people while we were taking on a break because I saw them on social media. I'm like, oh my god, I want to know more about them. So it rejuvenates my the energy that I feel when I first started, like macam the interest to want to know more, the curiosity. So I'm really excited. I'm really excited. Are there anyone yang you regret inviting so far? Laughing emoji. Nada. Yeah, like I said, I feel like the first 10 episodes, the first 10 guests were very solid. I enjoyed speaking to each and every one of them. What's next for Easy Does It? Stay tuned. What's something most people don't know about you? I think there's a lot of things that people don't know about me, and I'm okay with keeping it that way. Um, Again, to clarify, doesn't mean that I'm hiding anything. I'm not. I'm an open book. Uh, I welcome anybody. If anyone's curious about me, they can just ask me. I'm literally not a I'm not a mystery, like but it has to be at the right time and place lah. Like I have to be in the mood to like wanna go deep and talk about myself. Um, yeah. Is that like an okay answer, or should I like at least give them something?
It's okay. I mean, like, if you watch the show, you'll learn more about Izzy. Like every episode, you learn something new about him. So,
Okay.
kind of.
Yeah. There you go. Is it okay for dice? Is it okay for guys to date older women? Why not? Why not? I think it's okay. Yeah. I feel like Chamaniba, when people ask me these questions, right? Assuming this is coming from a guy, like asking if it's okay for him to date older women, I feel like it's sad to me because you don't have to ask these questions as if you're asking for permission from anybody. Like, I think you should really just do whatever you want. And I think the concern here is, if you do decide to date an older woman, would your friends and family be okay with it? And I think that's something that most people are worried about. And it makes sense for them to be worried about that. So, to keep it short, if you're asking me if it's okay for guys to date older women, yes, go for it.
Yeah. If you have reservations culturally, kahapa, even in Islam, the Prophet's first wife was older than him.
There you go. What changed in your life after you became more mainstream after podcasting with guests? This is a really good and interesting question. Nothing much has changed, but I do feel like I am becoming more, not paranoid, but I'm becoming more wary if I go out with my friends, macam in restaurants or cafes, because we can be pretty loud. And I do worry that like macam there's a certain expectation that is set on me now because I guess people recognize me more, but again I try not to let that go into my head, because when I go out, like I'm gonna act like how you're gonna act with your friends. I'm gonna act crazy. I'm gonna run across the street. I'm gonna twerk all over town. Like I'm not gonna hold myself back just because I'm now mainstream. So I always try to share my most authentic self, right? And I'm not crazy all the time, but there are phases. I'm like I said again, like macam just because you see me through a screen, it doesn't make me any different from you. When I go out with my friends, I'll do crazy stuff. I have mood swings as well. There are times where I smile at random people, senyum sedakah, but there are times where mukaku bangas. Like I just don't have time to like please anybody. So I wanna use this as a PSA. Like, don't put that pressure onto me. Okay? Like just let me be. So that's the one thing that I feel like has changed lah. I mean, there are people who have come up and say like, oh, they watch the show and stuff, but for me it's like normal. Like they enjoy the content that I put out. It's nothing. It's an honor to be able to do what I do, and it's such a amazing experience that a lot of people are watching this show. So yeah, I just have to remind myself not to freak out all the time and to just be to live in the moment and to like be grateful for this experience. Um, has things changed for you?
No, I mean, okay, just as frame of reference, I left a job just before the podcast started.
Yeah.
So I was living like I was adjusting to a new life anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So like this is my new normal and I'm doing more production work because I've always wanted to do more production work. So, eh, Bila,
Yeah.
same same. And it's not like people are like, "Oh, actually, oh, benar sekali." I got a job because I was doing IZZY Does It. Sekali itu saja.
Yeah.
Yeah. But otherwise it's like normal life,
Normal life, right? It's like,
None crazy.
yeah. Because I feel like, because it's Brunei, how crazy can it go?
Mm.
You know, we don't have celebrity culture. People don't come up to me and ask me to take photos with them. There's no paparazzis like chasing after me. It's a very chill life.
Paling-paling pun people stare.
Yeah.
Yeah, people stare dari jauh macam ku kenal siapa kau?
Yeah, yeah.
Kan?
Right?
Macam do I know this person? Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the only thing. Oh, okay. I guess the other thing that changed is how my friends like tease me. It's gone to a whole nother level. When I was on TikTok, oh my god, my friends were like, "Oh, is he famous?" Like people share your videos to me and stuff like that, right? But now it's like on a whole nother. The teasing is just overwhelming. Like I have this one friend, you know who I'm talking about. Whenever we go out, kalau datang mood niya kan mengatil, he would actually ask the waiter, like, "Kau kenal ka ne?" Like, can you imagine, like, how embarrassed and stressed out I am? Like, I don't like that. But I know he doesn't mean it in a malicious way. It's funny, you know? It's funny, tapi for me to be experiencing it, for me to be the subject of that, is like just not. I, I prefer to just chill, you know, just relax. Yeah, so that's changed. Atu saja. Like, my friends thinking I'm, or believing I'm something more than what I actually am. Assalamualaikum. Hi everyone. I want to take this chance to remind you to hit the like button, subscribe, and leave a comment down below. Talking to your friends and family about IZZY Does It helps us reach new listeners who may enjoy the show as much as you do. And as you know, we recently launched our crowdfunding campaign to keep the show going, but this is entirely optional. Those who are willing and capable can transfer however much into the bank account in the description box below. And as usual, I want to thank you for your incredible support and hope you enjoy the show. What were some of the things you considered when deciding to leave your full-time job? Honestly, a lot of the things I have to consider, like realistic things such as like my financial stability. But when I decided to leave my job, I already had a few freelance jobs lined up. So I knew I was going to be financially covered within the next few months. Alhamdulillah, so far until now, I am still surviving like project by project. Um, but I'm hoping for that to change, inshallah, one day. But the one major thing that I considered when I decided to leave my full time job is just understand deeply that literally we only have this one lifetime to do what we truly want. And if I don't do it now, at that time I was 33, now I'm 34. If I don't do it at my age now, I don't think I'm able to do it when I'm older. I don't know if that's a limiting belief because you can actually achieve your dreams at any age you are in. But for me, I just choose to do it right now while I'm still healthy, while I don't have any commitments financially. I don't have to pay my car loans, I don't have a home loan. So I feel like this is the best age for me to stop being a corporate slave and just try to attain freedom by doing what I want. Itulah. What is your opinion about young people yang rude? Muda kaya, tua kaya, kalau you're rude, obviously I'm not I'm not here for that. You know, I don't like rude people in general. I don't care whether they're young or old. So don't be rude. What's the worst thing that has ever happened to you? I think when my cat died, that was one of the worst things that ever happened to me that I can remember lah recently. And I miss Gretel so much. That's her name, Gretel. What is my pet peeve? Banyak. I don't even know where to start. I have a lot of pet peeves. Okay, let's try to go through it like one by one, the things that I can think of. People who act like they're the victims of their own doing, that pisses me off so much. People who are flaky, people who think being disorganized and being like using their mental health as an excuse to me is like a pet peeve for me as well because I personally know some people who are diagnosed with mental health and are actually doing really well. So I feel like that shouldn't be an excuse and it shouldn't be a go-to reason whenever it's like, oh, I couldn't complete this on within a certain time period because I have dot dot dot. It's like for me that's not a good excuse to have. People who are rude to waiters, waitresses, customer service people, like that's also like a huge pet peeve to me. What makes you the person that you are today? A lot, a lot, a lot. My past experiences, um, yeah, shit that I go through, that I went through when I was younger. Um, yeah, but I think I would like to also attribute my friends and my family who have stuck with me throughout all these years, who probably judged me back then, but still decided to be friends with me and give me like second chances, third chances. I think those are the people who make me the person who I am today, because in turn, that makes me more compassionate and more forgiving to people who go through shit and who are in work in progress lah. Do you think people deserve a second chance? Yes. I believe everyone deserves a second chance, which is why I have never, ever been okay with cancel culture. Cancel culture does work to a certain extent, but it can also easily get toxic. And that's why I feel like people just use cancel culture as an opportunity to cancel people they never liked instead of trying to teach whoever's been canceled a lesson lah. Yeah, that's just my personal opinion. How do you make people happy? In terms of longevity, if we can take care of our car and service them, how do we even take care of ourselves? I think it's easy to make people happy. It's harder to make yourself happy. So I think that's what your focus should be, to make yourself happy. Um, by then you being happy with yourself, you're able to make other people happy. That makes sense, right? Yeah. Fuad is nodding. Yeah. And like macam servicing kereta jual, like this person said, you need to take time to service yourself. And I don't mean that in a sexual way. I mean that in a way that you have to isi your tangki minyak. You have to take time for yourself to rejuvenate your energy. You have to take time to reflect on where you are in life right now and the people around you. Who makes you happy? Who makes you anxious? Who makes you anxious in a good way or in a bad way? Who makes you feel insecure. So I feel like every year you need to take the time to do that for yourself. What is my current motivation? I think my current motivation for Easy Does It is obviously our listeners who have been supportive since day one, who have said nothing but nice things, who took time to craft messages and send them. I think you are our current motivation to keep going on, even though there's no business yet as of now, right? Yeah. Not a question. I just like the selection of guests that you invite, and please continue the creativity. Don't stop. You're in the right path. Chayo. I don't know what chayo means, but thank you so much for the kind words. Really, really appreciate it. Okay, now finally, the last segment. The last segment we can eat after this. The last segment, I received quite a number of questions about my personal life, mainly about romantic relationships. Okay. I'll skim through it. Do you have a girlfriend? Are you married? Are you seeing anybody right now? If not, are you open to dating? I'm interested to getting to know you. Are you seeing anyone? If not, what's your type? How old are you? Are you single? What age would you like to get married in? What do you look for in a girl? Would you date a janda? Yeah. So, right. First of all, I am very, very flattered for these questions, even though if it's just curiosity or if you're interested in me. I would like to publicly announce, Mihirja, bungi ko to. I would like to say that I am currently not looking to be in a relationship. I am not in a relationship. I am very, very much single, but I am not looking to be in a relationship. If it happens, it happens. If it's not, my priority is on Easy Does It and in my career, making sure that when the right person comes into my life and it's time to settle down, I'm able to provide for them financially. Currently, where I'm at right now, I'm in no position to wife anybody because I won't even be able to afford nafka. And I do know so many people say when you get married, Riziki will come. Okay, sure. I'm glad you think that way. But for now, my priority is creating the life of my dreams. And again, if so happens someone comes into my life, okay, bah, sure. But right now, I'm not looking. What is my type? Nada. honestly, honestly speaking. What else on that? Oh, I'm 34 years old. Open to dating, yes, but do not expect me to settle down. I'm always open to getting to know people if they're interesting. If inda, then save yourself the trouble. Um, have I ever said at what age I want to get married? Yes, previously I told myself I want to get married by the time I'm 40 because that gives time for me to have kids and like spend time with them while I still have the energy. But I trust in the higher power, in God, in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that my jodoh is written, my rizq is written. When it happens, it happens. So yes, that is all for that part. I hope that's like it's really flattering pulang. But yeah, I hope that answers your question. The last two question revolves around my family. So the first one is, have you ever met your father? Have you ever been to Thailand? I have zero memory of my father, and I'm assuming this is you asking about my Thai father, Lanya. So I have zero recollection of him, but I have seen pictures because he left when I was a year old. So there was like documentation in like as in photographs lah of when I was a baby, like him holding me up. I have been to Thailand, but not to look for him. I've been to Thailand for a holiday. Because yeah, I just don't think it's it's very unrealistic for me to travel to Thailand and look for him. Like Thailand punya population is like gila berabis banyak. So yeah, I've never met my father. I don't even know if he's alive or not, honestly speaking. I want to know about your story, Izzy. How did you come about podcasting and the idea of interviewing local celebrities and influencers? Atu sudah. The follow-up question is that you don't understand some Brunei or Malay words. Were you brought up outside of Brunei? I've been in Brunei for I've never studied overseas basically. I was brought up in Brunei, born and raised in Brunei. I think the reason why I don't understand some Malay words is that because some of the words that are being said are not used in my household. And don't get me wrong, I don't speak English all the time. I speak English when like I'm in this kind of situation. It's like a default language that I use whenever I'm in front of the camera or speaking to people I don't know. But normally I do speak in Malay. Um, it's just that when it comes to formal Malay, obviously I cannot and I don't understand. Um, yeah, itulah saja. Like I speak Malay to my mother, but even then, whenever I want to have like a deep conversation with her, or whenever I'm arguing with her and I try to explain her my point, I struggle to find the words because I don't think I have the vocab the Malay vocab to like explain to her. And I'm not sure if I explain English, I'm not sure if she would understand Jua. So it is like a struggle sometimes. Not a big struggle, but a struggle. And I do want to improve my Malay so that I can have like Malay guests and make them feel comfortable speaking to me in Malay. Last question. Izzy, mind telling a story about your family, like how close you are with them, who is the one closest to you since Damit? So I have two sisters and I have a half brother, and my mother. I think out of everybody, I'm closest to my mother, and mind you, we're not close. So that's how I can gauge the closeness of me and my siblings because I'm the black sheep of the family. Everyone else is living a template life, and I'm saying template life not in a bad way, but they're married now, they have proper jobs and they have kids. Like life is good for them because they live that conventional lifestyle. So me living in an unconventional lifestyle, I am the black sheep of my family, and I don't think, honestly, I feel like they don't understand me, which is fine. That doesn't mean that I love them any less or I feel like they love me any less. I feel like us as siblings, like me and my sisters, we have gone through so much growing up that I feel like our bond is unbreakable. Um, I trust that they will be there for me and I will be there for them when they need me. I'm super super close to their kids because like they're like um my besties, like my niece and my two nephews. So, yeah, in short, I'm not close to my family, but they are still like, I love them with all my heart still. So, that is all for today. I'm not gonna lie. This is harder than me interviewing a guest. So I'm not used to tackling this many questions, which is why like for me I'm like super exhausted right now, but I do am appreciative of the time that you took to send me these questions, and I do hope that this will give you a glimpse of who I am as a person so that we can get to know each other better. But yeah, the best way obviously is if you see me in person, come up to me and say hi and we can have a little chat because I would like to get to know who is it that's listening to the podcast. And some people have already done so, and I really enjoy having conversations with our listeners. So yeah, um, thank you so much. If you skipped any of the questions today, and if you've reached this far, I wanna again remind you that I know we're on a break, but we will be back really, really soon. So maybe give us just one more week. Okay? And then, yeah, thank you so much for watching. Assalamualaikum. That's all I have for today. Bye. Yeah, Fuad.